Hello, today we will be showcasing the effects of the last 2 years on Bitcoin prices using two separate analyses, which were done using Spark. Firstly, we will take a look at some simple Bitcoin matrix using Spark SQL to look for any interesting trends or abnormalities in the Bitcoin data. And then we will look at another application which helps us visualize the interaction between Twitter users and the Bitcoin market. Let's use Spark to find days with the largest positive and negative difference between the opening and closing price, and also find the day on which the largest volume of Bitcoin was traded. Using the following Spark SQL query, we are able to find the day which had the largest positive difference between open and close. In other words, we were able to find the day in which Bitcoin gained the most value during our selected time period. The day with the largest gain can also be seen on this candlestick plot. Similarly, we also use Spark SQL to find the day which had the largest negative difference between the opening and closing price. In other words, we were able to find the day in which Bitcoin's price dropped the most during our selected time period. Lastly, we can also see which day the largest volume of Bitcoin was traded and its effect on the Bitcoin's value. All data for this analysis was taken from the Gemini exchange, which included Bitcoin prices for every minute, which were aggregated to days using Spark. The Bitcoin matrix analysis was done using Spark data frames and was queried using Spark SQL. The results were then highlighted using candlestick charts with Matplotlib. The Bitcoin matrix analysis achieved its objective. We were able to find days which matched our queries, and we were able to showcase them using interesting plots. These matrices can be matched with other data sources to see if there is any correlation that may exist. In our next application, we will showcase such correlation using Bitcoin and Twitter data. For our next application, we build upon what we had before and add Twitter as a second data source. Here we have a visualization of the interaction between Twitter users and the Bitcoin market. For every week, we have an aggregated Bitcoin price and a representative tweet for that week. The tweet is selected based on user verification and the amount of followers the user has. This visualization showcases how the market could influence the sentiment around Bitcoin prices and vice versa. For example, here we can see a reaction of a user to the increasing Bitcoin prices. While the next week we have a negative tweet about Bitcoin, which seems to be correlated to the dropping Bitcoin prices. Here we can see that the sentiments shared by the users are closely tied to the prices of Bitcoin. The Bitcoin data for this application was taken from the Gemini exchange. We also took data from Twitter, which in total was around 1 GB for 2021. These data were then put through Spark to aggregate the Bitcoin data and filter the tweets to only select tweets from verified users and people with the most followers. Finally, the output data from Spark was then put into a pandas data frame and was used to create an interactive visualization using Plotly. We were successfully able to showcase weekly Bitcoin prices and that week's respective tweets to show how Bitcoin prices influence people's sentiments and vice versa. The interactive plot provides a good start to a tool that could later be expanded to analyze crypto markets when compared to sentiment around cryptocurrencies. We could go even further and use sentiment analysis on crypto-related tweets to predict whether Bitcoin price is going to go up or down.